and welcome to the City Report. I'm Jonathan Shannon reporting today from Clover, South Carolina.
And I'm David Heller reporting from Oklahoma.
And thank you for joining us tonight. As always, this newscast is real, in-depth, American. So glad you can join us, and we do have a lot to cover. We're going to be talking about the recent tornadoes that tragically hit a large city in Northeast Arkansas that David will be talking about in just a second. We'll also be talking about the latest on Tegna and also touch a little bit on COVID-19. And I do want to just let you know there will be a special bulletin coming up in a few days, likely on Tuesday of this week, that more extensively talks about COVID-19 and things related to that, as well as the Federal Reserve. But without further ado, David, I'm going to let you just talk a little bit about the tornadoes that hit Arkansas really just yesterday.
Yes, that is correct. Yesterday, about just a little under 24 hours ago, right about now, as of this recording, there was what is considered to be a preliminary rating of an EF3 tornado per the National Weather Service office in Memphis, Tennessee. Started just south of Jonesboro and then tracked northeast around just about the southern and eastern ends of Jonesboro, closer toward where the campus of Arkansas State University is at, where the malls and different businesses like that, all the restaurants are basically at, and ended up crossing Interstate 555, which is the main thoroughfare that connects Jonesboro to Interstate 55. And then after that, the same tornado, tracked north and east, striking the town of Brooklyn, Arkansas. And so far, we don't know how bad the situation is right now as of this recording, but from everything I've seen in Jonesboro, as far as pictures and everything, I can guarantee you that it's probably going to be just as bad up in Brookhaven. And then it tracked just south and east of the town of Paragould, Arkansas. And then from reports, it looked as if the tornado tracked from just south of Jonesboro. It started just south of Jonesboro, and then it tracked all the way into Missouri. And then before that, the town of, I probably will mispronounce it, but just southwest of Jonesboro, there was another tornado, the original tornado, that struck those areas and caused significant damage there. So, in a way, Jonathan, there was about two separate tornadoes along the same thunderstorm, where after the first tornado lifted, it recycled, and then unfortunately, the tornado formed just right when the circulation was going just about over the top of Jonesboro.
Yeah, and from the pictures I've seen, it was just a terrible tornado. And David, you were telling me off the air last night that it reminded you, correct me if I'm wrong, of the Joplin tornado of 2011.
Correct. Basically, radar showed that basically it was nothing. And basically, Joplin was that way too. It was literally nothing. Yes, it was rotating, things like that. But there was no tornado, there was no wall cloud or anything like that, nothing. And then all of a sudden, as it got closer to Jonesboro, just like it did with Joplin, all of a sudden, boom. And then all of a sudden, radar went from nothing to large chunks of debris being locked in the air. And at various points yesterday, I nearly got choked up because of how bad it was, yesterday in Jonesboro. I mean, it was, Jonathan, let me put it this way. It was just one of those tornadoes that I'll just never forget. Because I remember sitting here in the office tracking it. But I'll add this too. I am so glad that nobody has been killed and that there were very few people in the mall, because at that time the mall had already been closed anyway because of COVID-19. And just imagine, well, I wouldn't even want to imagine how many people would have been there in the mall on a typical Saturday if it wasn't for COVID-19. There could have been a lot more people injured and probably people dead.
Right.
From this.
You and I both, David, we just want to see things go back to normal with COVID-19. But notwithstanding that, we are certainly grateful that because people were already home, or at least not at the mall, that that a lot of lives were likely saved yesterday because of
exactly.
In light of that tornado.
Exactly.
And by the way, folks, I'm noticing that we're having about a second or so delay. So if we're kind of stepping on each other, I'm not sure if we are. It's not because we're trying to step on each other, with talking. It's just that the delay. When you have this delay with me being remote and everything, that kind of creates a bit of a backlog a bit with getting my audio to David and David to mine. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, David, I'm going off of memory, but did you say it also hit, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing the town's name, but Paragould?
Correct. It basically started just south of Jonesboro, and it traps through the community of Brookhaven, which is just to the northeast of Jonesboro, and then it trapped just to the south and east of Paragould. Downtown Paragould was okay. It did not get hit, but areas just east of there were not so lucky.
What kind of businesses? I assume, did any businesses along US 412, did anything get hit?
To my knowledge, I'm just looking over Twitter right now and trying to see any information regarding this. In fact, as I'm doing this on the fly, I'm pulling up a Paragould tornado as I'm doing this on the fly.
Okay.
It looked as if, from what I'm seeing off of Twitter here, it looks like as if it did just barely miss the town of Paragould. It probably went maybe about a mile or two, maybe 3 miles east of the community of Paragould.
Well, I mean, obviously we never want to have a tornado hit any population or any building, but we're certainly grateful, at least in the case of Paragould, that the downtown area at least did not apparently take a direct hit, and we're certainly grateful for that as well.
Right. But unfortunately, Brookhaven and Jonesboro were not so lucky, unfortunately.
Right.
And obviously, we will keep everybody apprised on the situation. Right now, as of this recording, it is a preliminary EF3. We will probably have a further update on the situation for the next episode of the Citizen Report as soon as we get the official ratings from the National Weather Service in Memphis.
Right. Well, definitely, and that is. Wait a second. The field office region, that Jonesboro is in the Memphis office.
Correct. Okay. Jonesboro, Craighead County, where Jonesboro is at, is in the responsibility area of the National Weather Service office in Memphis.
Okay. All righty. And correct, folks. We'll definitely keep you updated. Probably by our next regular broadcast, we will make sure that you're kept up to date with the big takeaways from this. And certainly, David, I think you and I can both agree our prayers are going to be with the people in are going to be with the people in of Northeast Arkansas and any other area that was hit by these storms and tornadoes.
Correct. Exactly. Our thoughts and prayers are with the people in Jonesboro and Brookhaven and places like that. As you know, in this COVID-19 year, they're having to be outside and clean up in it.
And if I can just say, David, I hope I'm not getting out of line for saying this, but I hope nobody's offended that's listening by me saying this. But at this point, folks, when you have a tornado, you need to just stop thinking about COVID-19 and work and take immediate tornado precautions if you need to do that. When there's a storm coming at you, you don't need to be worrying about staying 6 feet apart from people in that kind of situation. You just need to, make sure that you're safe from the tornado. Right, David?
Yes, exactly. And even I was saying this too. Forget COVID-19, forget the CDC guidelines, just pretend as if the CDC does not exist. Forget that.
Right.
And just worry about protecting your family, protecting your property, and most of all, protecting your life. Because the tornadoes are going to be a lot more deadlier if it's going to be monstrous, as was the case with Jonesboro, than what COVID-19 will ever be.
Exactly. And our policy here at the Citizen Report is to treat every storm, as if you should treat it with absolute seriousness. When a tornado warning is issued, you need to make sure you're doing what you can to stay safe.
That's right. That's exactly right. And we will do our best here at the Citizen Report to keep everybody and every person safe from the tornadoes. And that's
right.
what we will do.
Right. Absolutely. We'll keep you folks updated on the very latest. David, let's switch gears right now and talk about Tegna. I understand that you also have some updates from that.
Yes, I do. This week, we have not have gotten any bidders or anything new from them as far as the bidders are concerned. But that is not to say Soo Kim has been coming out, and he's been coming out with fierce here. And I'm just putting that loosely here. In fact, last Friday, he came out with the statement here, said, quote, "It has been 2 weeks since they commented on the obligation of the Tegna board to run a full and fair process with the assistance of independent advisors to explore all alternatives to maximize value for all shareholders. During that time, there have been numerous reports of interest from credible third parties in an acquisition of Tegna, but to date, Tegna has made no public statement other than signing their so-called policy to not comment about market rumors regarding these proposals. Indeed, Tegna continues to publish investor materials that omit any reference to these acquisition proposals. And in fact, Jonathan, we were just looking over the materials earlier this week off air for their shareholder meeting coming up at the end of April. And we saw no mention at all of the bidders that are vying for Tegna. All they mentioned was, the standard general takeover. And that was it. There was no reference to Greg. There was no reference to Apollo. There was no reference to Alan, the Jiffy, TBN, nobody. No reference to the bids whatsoever. And then it goes on to say, with present the opportunity for all shareholders to realize a substantial premium to the undisturbed market price of Tegna common stock. It has been 2 weeks since we commented on the obligation of the Tegna board to run a full and fair process with the assistance of independent advisors to explore all alternatives to maximize value for all shareholders. And then during that time, there have been numerous reports of interest from credible third parties in an acquisition for Tegna, which is basically the same thing. He continued on to say, consistent with its fiduciary responsibility to maximize the value of shareholders' investment, we expect the Tegna board to pursue these offers vigorously. We expect Tegna to give interested parties access to due diligence to enable those parties the opportunity to develop their offers for the company. In light of challenging market conditions related to COVID-19, Tegna should be open to creative structures and financing solutions that will maximize value and certainty for all shareholders. Standard General remains ready to work with Tegna to help thoughtfully evaluate all alternatives. However, and this is the key part here, Jonathan, and for viewers as well, if the Tegna board takes actions that discourage or create obstacles for credible third parties, we will hold the board and its advisors accountable, close quote. And to touch on several points here that I've printed off here this week, one of them show that offers for Tegna are at almost double the current stock price, and the company thinks that putting out a pointless presentation is an adequate defense against selling. Ridiculous. And then another one came out and said, just came across this gem in Tegna's presentation. I was probably talking about the SEC filing that we mentioned a moment ago. It said, quote, proven creator of shareholder value, quote, successfully executing on so-called 5 pillars of value creation strategy. And then it goes on to say, in what world, and here's the set here, Tegna's value and everything that they've been giving to shareholders, listen to this stuff and for viewers. It's been at minus 48% over the last 5.5 years. Minus 48% over the last 5.5 years. And yet Tegna is coming out with saying, oh, we've been a proven creator of shareholder value when we know that's not true. You know?
Yeah, I think that Tegna is definitely trying to resist, a buyout by a company that clearly these companies are very serious, and they're not just throwing out, they're not throwing out frivolous bids from obviously they're not throwing out frivolous bids. They're very serious. They want to buy out Tegna in good faith, and Tegna's here trying to, kind of slow walk it and, just treat it as if it almost doesn't exist, except for the threat of being taken over by standard, by
Standard General. Yep.
Right. And, go ahead. I was just going to add this. Of course, Gray Television did pull out, but you still have Apollo, which is better known as Cox Media. They're Cox Media, the part of the company. And then you've got TBN, also known as Trinity Broadcasting Network. And I think that both of these companies should be given a fair opportunity to bid. And yet we've got Tegna, and it just, we'll see how this plays out. But right now, at least, it appears that they're not trying to come to the table in good faith with fiduciary duty, as David mentioned about fiduciary duty.
Correct, exactly. And even someone told me this on Twitter off air, as you mentioned. Tegna right now, and especially its board, is clearly not following their fiduciary duties that any business in general, we're not just talking about Tegna here, any business in general, whether you're looking at the media side, anything. Anytime you have something like this, you have to follow fiduciary duties set forth. And right now, Tegna and especially Tegna's board are not doing that. And the longer they keep on not following that, the more and more likely I think it's getting to be that Soo Kim may have no choice but to come in and take over Tegna and fire everybody on the board, and including Dave Logie, the CEO of Tegna.
I totally agree, David. And I'll just add this: I should clarify, and I don't know, David, if you've said this, but we should let me go ahead and just state this real quick, just in case. But Soo Kim, he's not just an outsider. He literally owns a portion of Tegna. What would you say, David, percentage was?
9.7%. So that's almost 10% of Tegna.
Obviously, that's just a minority stake, and a small minority at that. However, that's, if you own any portion of the company, you should be given a fair, a fair shake at things, and he's not being given, you know, fairness right now.
Exactly. And when you're somebody who is not given the fair shake here, and you own almost 10% of it, 10% of the company, you have no choice but to say, okay, if you're not going to, treat this with due diligence and due respect here, I have no choice but to come in and take over the company. And that's exactly what Soo Kim is probably preparing to do right now.
If I was him, I'd already be preparing those documents to whatever. I don't know I'm not familiar with the actual technicalities of taking over a company through hostile takeover. But if I was him and there's any paperwork to be prepared, I'd be doing that right now just to have on standby.
Exactly. And especially if Tegna continues down the path of resistance here, which right now it seems to be as if Tegna is continuing to do that, especially with the board. Obviously, we will continue to have updates on the Tegna situation as we see fit. Hopefully, Tegna's board is listening and is going to start talking and come out with some sort of a statement here, because otherwise, if they keep going down this path here, I wouldn't be surprised here over the next couple of weeks that we may start hearing news about Soo Kim preparing its offer to take over Tegna.
Right. So, absolutely, David. We will keep viewers up to date on the Tegna situation as well as major developments happen. I guess we're about done with the Citizen Report for this weekend. David, as always, it's a pleasure having you on as co-host, and great work as always. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.
All righty, and just a quick preview, everybody. I will have a special bulletin coming up later this week, or I should say really in a couple of days now. We're taping this on Sunday. Hopefully this Tuesday of this week, I'll be taping the special bulletin. I'll be talking more about COVID-19. I'm not going to touch on that really today. I'll get to that on the special bulletin. I'll also be talking about the Federal Reserve, and I'll be getting you the headlines as well. And as always, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate your support, as always. And don't forget our website as well, the citizenreport.weebly.com. And I'm on Twitter at the Jonathan News. I would encourage you to go follow me there. David, what's your Twitter handle?
At David_Heller9. Feel free to give me the follow, and yeah.
All righty, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate your feedback and story ideas, and any news tips, send it our way as well. We appreciate it if you would. And have a great day and a great week ahead. And be safe, trust God, and just enjoy life. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.
Have a good evening, everybody.
The Citizen Report is a production of New Shannon Media. All content protected under copyright.